Hey, what's good, people? This is episode 115. This is the Option Podcast. That's my dude. That's Avery Drost. Avery Drost.
We're
Damn,
already
we
doing
just
it.
had this conversation. And the episode starts right now. They ask. They ask.
There it is.
They
What's up,
ask
Jay?
and they shall receive. Because for me, I've got to give the people what they want. It's Avery. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Drost.
That's right, player.
What's
Episode
up?
115, man.
Yeah, man, I've come a long way, man. The cool thing is it's like infectious disease people now. It's not just volleyball players because sometimes when volleyball players talk to volleyball players, it's only going to attract other volleyball players, which is a good thing to us.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've come a long way, and I'm so glad to have my freaking blonde-haired, blue-eyed South Bay hitman for hire. That was one of my questions. Product. How are you, man?
Good, bro. Really good, man. I'm volleying a lot. I'm working hard on my game. I've got my two kids in school doing really great. My wife and I are doing awesome together right now. We're busy. You know, all my other work I usually do, coaching and everything else, but it's super good, man. And I'm working hard on volley for sure.
Yo, it's weird. I thought you had 3 kids. It's not like a.
It feels like I have 3 kids. I've got 2.
Okay, I actually when I moved to New York to LA, I remember the sleepless nights we have. I have a 4-year-old. I remember because
Same boat with the girls.
you were or you are coaching NB Surf.
Coaching NB Surf right now.
Still?
Yeah, I have
Okay.
been for a few years. Yeah, I got NB Surf right now.
So I was with Evolution. I actually just recently left. I'm with LA
really?
Volleyball Club, and I'm with LA Beach. I got girls.
Okay.
Dane's doing the beach. Jason All is doing indoor. So I'm going to be coaching both.
J.O. That's cool. I
How's
haven't
that
seen
for
J.O.
me
in a
from the
while. That's
past?
cool.
Yeah. J.O.'s a friend.
Yeah, that's cool.
J.O.'s a friend. I met him when he was on All My Children in New York because he lived in New York for like 6 years. So,
Wow, that's cool.
yeah. So
That's good, dude.
I remember dads have and I guess dads and moms, we have a particular look on our face. When you have kids that are up at night or whatever, it's like, I'm like, hey, Avery, what's good? You have this, before you answer, you have this look like you know.
Yeah. Like, why are you asking me? You already
Yes,
know.
like you really is this a rhetorical question? You think I'm gonna give you a different answer? I gave you the time before
Because
that.
we're always good. Because in the inside we're good. On like the outside sometimes we're pretty beat up, but on the inside we're like really good.
Yeah. And that's
You know how that is.
yeah, and you're right, because on the inside we're fine. You got the energy, and you got this exchange with your beautiful children. We both got cute kids. Don't we both have cute kids?
Yeah.
Have you seen my daughter?
Of course, she's super cutie, and I think mine are cute. You know, but that's probably everyone thinks their kids are cute. But I think yours is super cutie.
To quote one of my favorite
she's awesome.
rappers, they mad because we styling on them, okay? Because we know all babies aren't beautiful. They come out looking like aliens, right? Like take me to your leader. But we got some cute
They
ass
did. Both
kids.
of them came out looking a little funny, and I was like, ooh. and then the ship kind of rights itself after a couple hours.
I brag because I know I am secure in the fact that my kid got her looks from mom's side. That is a win. All right, I'm a likable guy, but nobody trust
Same
me.
here, man.
And I don't want no kids looking like me, Avery. So Avery, let's climb into volleyball a little bit, and I'm gonna bounce around a little bit. So be patient. The first time I met you, because this leads to the question. First time I met you, and this is so much fun. This really kind of got me into beach. New York. AVP 2015. You're playing with
Billy K.
That's right, Bill Kolinske, and you made the semifinals as a full-time
That was
defender.
my first time in the semis.
Yeah, that was your first semis, right?
Yeah.
Dude, and you were so. Let me tell you something. There's a lot of people that I talk to, And they're polite. And I guess they're polite because they're just trying to be nice. And then there's some people that are over polite, but they're kind of like phony. And you kind of, and as a New Yorker, I you know, my bullshit meter, I see that too.
Red flags.
Yes. It's still even now, even in California for 5 years. But I talked to you a few months later, and I was like, congratulations. I said, you know, I was in New York when you whatever. And you're like, dude, thanks. Hey, that means a lot. And I got such a great feeling talking to you because the short conversation we had came from such a real and honest and genuine place. And that's not where I'm going with my question, but I think it's important for my audience to know that you are the same person off camera. When you leave this podcast, I'm not going to say anything different about you than when you're on, because this is who you are. And for that, I appreciate that. So my question,
bro.
my
That's
question,
cool, man.
my question is, you've been splitting your time as a full-time defender and as a full-time blocker. Was Bill your first go around as a full-time defender, or was it someone else?
No, it wasn't. It's funny. I like kind of tried to end up being a defender for so long. I'm trying to put all the pieces together. I think even before that, did I play with Russ Marchuka? I'm trying to remember.
You did.
I played some.
You played after.
I played some defense. I guess that was after.
Mm-hmm.
I know I played some defense here and there before then. I think the first time I really got into it and stuck with it for a little while was when me and Billy played. And then the first time I like got anywhere and got some results was when me and Billy played. That was really cool. And ever since, this is like always the question that comes up for me is like blocking and defending, because I'm 6'4". I love blocking, and there's always a need for blockers, right? But then you look at somebody my size and you're like, if he could be a defender, maybe the ceiling's a little bit higher. So yeah, of course that's like always the question, but back then I swear, just like every other time, it was about playing with Billy. It's like, I want to play with Billy, and that's kind of how I approached it, like all the time. Like if there's somebody I want to play with, I'll play the right position, to play with that person. And I still think that applies to me, in the direction I'm going right now. It's like, it's about the partner, it's about the team. And, if I can do both, cool. And I'll do the one that the team needs me to do.
I got a question for you. How tall do you think? How tall is Trevor Crabb? Not how tall is he listed. How tall is Trevor Crabb?
Well, he's definitely taller than me.
Yeah.
I think Trev is. I think. I don't know if Trev is quite 6'6", but he's right there. If he might be like 5 or 6'5.5" or something. Mm-hmm. But he's for sure taller than me. Like I'm 6'4" right on the dot, and he's you can see for sure if we stand next to each other, he's taller than me. I think Try is 6'5", right? And Try and Trev are definitely the same height, and Trev maybe even a little bit more. He's got that little faux hawk thing going on too.
Yeah.
So
when he's not hunching, and he got the faux hawk going, because I got one under this hat. I got a party under this hat right now. I just did mine.
Yeah.
But
I think he's real close to 6'6", super close.
I think the point I was trying to make is, because you're big at the net, and a lot of people don't know. They don't think 6'4". Trevor, right? When he was full-time blocking and not split and block. I mean, at the international level, 6'5" or 6'6" isn't what anyone considers especially tall either. But it's it's heavily and highly ignored, because guys like you, and I'm putting you guys in the same category, at least in this respect. I mean, there are differences, of course, but when you're at the net, nobody's like, I'm going to expose the 6'4" blocker. You play big at the net, unless there's some disparaging difference where someone's like 7 feet tall, like Semenoff or whatever, or when Robbie Page stops hunching and hitting sidearm. Then there might be some difference in reach, I mean, because I've seen you play Ryan Doherty, I've seen you play Jay Gibb, I've seen you play Theo Brunner, all of these guys, Phil, right? All of these guys are what you would consider the classic full-time front row blocker, and without getting into the demographics of their height, they're widely accepted as like the top 3 blockers. And I don't really see those guys. Yeah, I don't really see those guys unless you're not minding your P's and Q's, I don't really see them exposing you as a 6'4" blocker. So one of my high praises to you is you play size-wise, you play big at the net. You know, dude, I played indoor. I'm a 6'1" setter. Man. I'm a 6'1" setter. I got to be big, right? I had to be big too. You know, what's your wingspan?
It's not like longer than my height really. I don't have super long arms. Okay. It's probably like a tiny bit longer than I am high. So I'm not super long arms. Just have to learn how to block with all the timing adjustments and all the different ways that you can affect the game at the net, other than just like taking up a ton of space. I think the way that I can get exposed as a blocker is if I try to play the same as those guys. If I'm trying to just like get up and press huge on every play, there's only so much that I'm really able to take at my biggest. Mm-hmm. And then if I'm just up super early and pressing as big as I can consistently, there's some really flat shots right over the top of me. That's the problem with being a smaller blocker. I think it's not so much taking away swings, it's taking away like those really flat shots and being able to sort of like step over and reach a wide cut shot or things like that. So you just got to play timing games and you got to play really connected to your defender and do it right. But then, there's advantages to being small too. You can hide in the pocket a little bit. You can show up in front of guys when they don't see you. Hopefully at 6'4", I can be a little agile and more quick than, a 6'11" guy that's kind of going to be working hard to move around in transition and stuff like that. So I forget sometimes when I'm blocking that I'm small and that I have to, I try to make a big move and I realize, I'm not going to be able, I can't make that move. Like I can't hide over here and then reach back over there and get it. So I got to have great footwork. I got to move laterally really well. I got to time it. I got to keep my hands high to touch shots. I got to like make aggressive moves. When guys bring the ball down into my space, got to shoot my hands across and get it. But there's a whole different way to block when you're 6'4". It's a whole different set of technique versus like being a 6'9" blocker. So you just do it different. But they can both work. I really think they can both work.
Something I've noticed doing this for a long time as a player coach, mostly indoor, but the reason why I'm bringing this up because indoor and outdoor, they have this in common. In this big man's world, whenever you look at like all tournament teams, whenever you look at like MVPs, it's always the guy who ranges from 6'2" to 6'4". 2004 Olympics, right? Brazil won. Who's the best player on the court on both sides? It's Giba. Giba's 6'2", right? Karch played, was overtly one of the best teams ever assembled. Karch is 6'2". Taylor Sander, listed at 6'4", 6'5", was voted best player in the world, or best offensive player. And were there guys bigger than him at that position? It's crazy.
Taylor, we're gonna see him. We're gonna see him block, by the way. I think, and I think he'll show everybody he can do it.
Yeah, the word's out. Yep.
Yeah.
Taylor Crabb. Hey, here's another guy, right? Long Beach State. One player of the year, voted player of the year by the American Volleyball Coaches Association in 2013. So it is a big man's world, but I just find it intriguing that guys like Taylor's not 6'2", but I'll call him cusp. Guys like you, guys like him, are the ones in the MVP conversations. Isn't that crazy?
Then there's some guys, then you got guys like Phil that are in the MVP conversation too. And it's just, but I hear what you're saying. It's like, you can be dynamic at any size. It's just, I really think it's about understanding like what you can use your body for and not trying to play like somebody who's like, if Taylor tried to play like he was 6'9", it wouldn't work, but he plays like him. And then that's how he gets it done. And he's got ways to beat the big guys.
Well, you can't be a champion without knowing your limitations, right? Phil's a big guy, dominant blocker, but he's not going to be in practice. He's not going to practice a dip and pull. He's as stiff as a board, right? Like Sharif from Qatar, he's going to practice dip and then big step back on something that I've been teaching some of my girls because I wanted to see, like, you want to see who's athletic enough to do it.
How tall is Sharif? Do we know? How tall is Sharif?
I don't know how tall is Sharif, but I think we both agree he's not as tall as Phil.
No, but he's so long. He's like, I can't tell how tall he is either. He's just, he's got some long arms.
He's
Anyway, I know,
he's mobile as
saying.
hell too, man.
Yeah,
like
he's so good, man.
I started teaching dip and pull watching him. Like late dip, just
that's cool.
And because that's how a big guy can play a short guy. Like you catch a lot of people. Yeah. You were just talking about that. Now you see me, now you don't. That little ghost face killer type thing. Yeah, and a lot of big guys don't practice that because they don't have the dexterity and the flexibility as him. I'm like, we're not going to teach Jake how to do that in practice. Jake's not interested in doing that. No, you know.
I think Jake can do it, but. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Well, nutrition-wise, I think Jake is up for any challenge. Like Jake has talk about a guy who took care of himself, huh? Or who is taking care of himself.
Dude, yeah, man. We can talk more about Jake if you want to, man, because it's so weird that Jake's about to be retiring, or about to, he has, and like as long as I've been like aware of volleyball, beach volleyball, Jake's been there doing it. It's gonna be so weird to not have him in the tent, but we could like pretty much learn everything from him if we watch him.
Yeah, we can go, and we need a whole another half hour. We're probably going to be on just for like an hour. If you've seen some of my podcasts, we go buck wild. So I think one was like 3 hours, one was like an hour and a half. I had a veterans, military vet specialist, and we went over a little bit because the information she was disseminating was super necessary.
Cool.
So
that's really cool.
And the big secret is, and I'm gonna say it on this show, that was my sister.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, no one knew that. No one knew it was my sister. She's got these long dreads. The face, she looks like Angelina Jolie, but she has a medical laboratory sciences, master's degree, doctorate in social work. She's also she did 2 tours in Afghanistan, and she works for a military contractor that's like a 1-800 hotline for active duty vets who are like suicidal or this or that. So she has like 3 jobs, and all of it's just making us better human beings. So
she's a legend.
Yeah, man, she's a hybrid. Speaking of hitmen for hire, and speaking of hybrids, I've always considered Eric Beranek the ultimate hitman for hire. The guy who made the draw 8 times with like 7 different partners and just kept going until someone says, "Hey, I'm your guy." You got to play with Eric this year, right? In what was it, Manhattan Beach?
Yes, I did, man.
Chicago.
No, Chicago.
I looked at your BVB.info page. I mean, I know a lot about you, but sometimes it's nothing like raw stats and just like years chronological timelines, so you could appreciate who you are as a person.
Yeah.
Damn. I called Eric a hitman for hire. It's you, man.
No, I thought that's what you were gonna say. Yeah. Travis said I was the ultimate utility man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a compliment.
Yeah, I know. I've been through. Yeah, man. Well, no, I appreciate that. It's like, because I've played on both sides and blocked and played defense, and I've been at it for a little while now. I've had chances to do it all, and I've got to play with some really good guys, for short spans and long spans. It's crazy, like when I think back on it. But now, I don't know if you're getting ready to ask this but stoked to say this, but Beranek and me, we've shook on it as a team to go into the next season, and I'm so fired up on that because that, as fun as it is to get to play with a bunch of different guys, it's much more fun to put a team together and really work on it, and especially for me when I'm kind of like floating around sometimes between like, all right, am I on the left, am I on the right, am I blocking, defending, like. I know that I'm blocking full time. I'm on the left full time, and Beranek is such a good partner, dude. I can't say enough about like how committed he is. He is so on it with his, works so hard in practice. He wants to build a team, not just like roll into an event. He wants to build a real team, and he's putting the investment in, working his butt off to so we can together. We've got coaching, and we're not cutting any corners. So I'm really pumped that we're a team. And so hopefully I stop being like a utility man so much for a little while, and we settle in and have a nice long run together.
I'm a fan. Eric, listen, I'm what you call a volleyball purist. Volleyball purist means you're a fan of the sport and you don't really give a shit who's playing or not. You're just there and you're engaged.
Love the game,
and either it's engaging or it's not. If it's not engaging, you move on to the next match. You know, there's no other courts and this and that. But there's only, I'm gonna be honest with you, there's only a handful of people that I'm an actual fan of. Meaning, I know that person's playing. I'm leaving my house. You know, you got the kid. Bye, bye. Where's the nanny? It's and for the women, it's Chrissy Jones. It's TKN because I've been following Cloth and Nuss for 2 years. I've been following them before in between seasons in LSU. So I watch because I've been doing color commentary on some of the Coconut Beach, which you didn't make. I was in Atlantic City. I did court 2. Saw
you in Atlantic City.
Yeah, Cameron Irvin did court 1. I did court 2. They gave it to me. They gave it to me by myself. They're like, "Is it okay if you do this by yourself?" I'm like, "Yeah." You're like, "That's Jason." But all right. So for the men, it's Trevor. I'm a fan.
Cool.
And
I love watching Trevor play.
And it's Eric Beranek. And it's Eric Beranek, this dude who I probably, if you looked at my YouTube videos, my NY Varsity Sports, the last 2 years, I probably have more video on that guy than any other male player. You know?
Dude, he's a fun player. That's why he's outrageously quick. You know, we know that. Like, and now I see that with him running around on defense. But dude, he just plays his heart out. He has a lot of range on his offense. Like for a smaller guy, like tons of range. Likes to go, run offense quick. Man, just scoops so many balls and plays his heart out. And then he's a purist too, because I've been, one of the things I love about him is that he's from the South Bay.
Redondo Union High School, yeah.
Yeah, and then I live here too. He's born and raised here. I'm not born and raised here. I think I've been here so long that I think sometimes people seem to think, and I coach at Mira Costa, so you
got that look.
People are thinking I was born and raised here, and I wasn't. Yeah. I grew up in Redlands, inland, but then I've been here for like 10 years. But Eric's, born and raised here, so he gets like the culture. He gets like the beach volleyball culture of the South Bay, and that's like, I love that culture. It's very near and dear to me. So I so appreciate that he was raised on the beach doing this. And that kind of shows when he plays, I think, because he plays with that kind of like respect for the game, that hustle, that dialogue, like that edge, everything that kind of comes from the area. He's all about it. So I totally understand. I mean, he was fun. He was like one of my favorite players to watch as well.
Remember 2019? Remember Manhattan Beach, him and Bill?
I know.
Bill's coming back party.
He knocked me out 15, 13, and 3. Me and Chase Frisch had an all-out war with those guys. I think to get to 5th, I think we were at 7th, and it was I think, and then we just had an epic match. Yeah, and he played unreal.
It's on YouTube, guys. Go to NY Varsity Sports.
You can go watch it. Yeah, it was a great match.
It has a scoreboard. Awesome. It's a match up. It's a score. I score cam that match for you guys. It's a scoreboard on that. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it. That's how you go watch that. And yeah, he's legit. And then so last summer too, we spent pretty much the whole summer on the same court training together. Not on the same team because he was playing with Andy Benish, but dude, I mean, he was working with LT, Coach LT, who had his setup at 3rd Street. Yep. In Hermosa, and I was in that crew training with LT all that summer. Right. And it didn't work out in the bubble in Long Beach. I played with Ryan Doherty, and I was, obviously defending on the right side, but that didn't get finalized until pretty close to the bubble. I was kind of doing a little bit of everything. That whole summer, we were playing against each other all the time, so many mornings. So I spent a lot of time around him and was just always impressed and stoked on him. And then I was so happy when he called me to play in Chicago that kind of fell together. And then I knew right away it was a good fit. And, when we had a chance to talk about putting the whole team together, I knew he had like a vision for a real team, and that's what I wanted. Nice. And I was all about it. And,
I coached against him at Manhattan Beach in the qualifier. I was coaching Rob Diarra and Rob Mclean, who Rob Mclean, another badass. He's coming up. Look out for that guy.
Yeah, he's such a good guy too, man.
And
I love Rob, man.
And then the second time I was Rafu's coach. Rafu was playing with Ed, so I'm like, since I'm taping all these games, I actually literally taped every single match from his run from the contenders bracket all the way to the semifinals. Because after they beat guys, they beat Kame and Chalk. They'd already beaten Ricardo and Rosie. They'd beaten Hayden and Brunner. So a list of
and then they had a war assassins. With Casey and Chase too. They almost got Casey and Chase.
Well, that first set, yeah. So steering to and away from Eric Beranek, because I want to get back to you. Give me, you guys played in Chicago. What's one thing, I'm asking a John Mayer question, another former partner of yours, you hit man for hire. In John Mayer format, give me one thing you thought Eric Beranek did well in Chicago as your partner. There's a bunch of things. First thing that came to your mind, bam, go.
The first thing was just be tough because, he actually he tweaked something on day one in this big long fight we had with Billy Allen and Andy Benish, and he played so well, but he tweaked something in a knee, and it was in like a lot of pain. And that evening we didn't even know for sure that he could play the next day. And of course we didn't talk about any of this at the time, but I went to bed like just praying he was okay and that we might even have a chance to try to play the next day. And plenty of guys could have made excuses and mailed it in, like plenty of guys.
Right.
And he didn't do that. He knew it was important to try, and he felt like he was okay enough. It wasn't going to hurt himself worse, and that he could get back out there and try. And then he played like great. So I tell you, it was tough. That was the first thing he did.
Here's actually a highlight.
Showed up.
Here's actually a highlight. I had a
look at that hair flow.
I had a Manhattan Beach top 10 plays.
Prosser.
Yes. This is a qualifier match. This is Lotman and Derek Olson.
Oh yeah.
So I did like a top 10 plays of Manhattan Beach, and mine's is better than the AVP because the AVP only had center court. I actually put together a compilation of center court and the outer court. So look how long this rally is.
Another one of my partners, by the way, Derek Olson. One of my favorite partners ever.
Eric with an hour never shot, wrist away.
Finally ends, and there go the shades. And actually, watch this. The guy, he comes up to me and comes off the court and gives me like a double pound. So off come the shades. By the way, this woman walks by and she catches the shades. Yeah, she catches the shades. Don't even know where they came from. And here's him at the camera.
He just yeeted those things.
It's pretty cool.
Don't seem possible.
You know what's gnarly about the end of that rally is the shot at the end. Like that. I mean, that's everything.
That's an all or nothing, right?
But that inside out wrist away from that spot, and he's so good at he puts that thing down kind of shallow all the way on the sideline. And he does that a lot, and he's really, really good at that shot. Not everyone's wrist can do that.
And on the ocean side, it's nasty.
Yeah,
you're like, you could do everything right and still not dig that shot.
Yeah. But I mean, the back and forth is of course he does that all the time. But then he's got that nice little finishing, snappy. That's a good shot.
So, okay, back to Chicago. Let's talk about you.
Yeah.
Give me one thing that you would have liked to have done better at Chicago that you'd like to do better going forward.
It's all side out for me. And that's my whole mission as I'm going into this next season. I haven't been shy about telling everyone, the reason I'm training so much right now and the reason I'm playing so many, tournaments, even small ones when I can right now, is because I've come away from this season and looking ahead to the rest of my career, realizing that I still have the big blessing that I get to play. I've got some, I like my work and my life and my, everything else, sponsors and things like that are lined up so that I can keep doing it. Thank you, God, that's amazing that I can still do it. And then, but I'm, so stoked on the kind of career I've been able to have so far. I'm really grateful for that. But I know that there's the evolution for me to start winning on Sundays. has got to come. I think it's not about like, am I a blocker? Am I a defender? It's about, do I have a side out game that works at the elite level? And for me, I realized that it's, to beat the gnarliest blockers and the gnarliest teams. I felt like my side out game was it's just been too true, predictable, in that I hit the ball true. I kind of like shoot the ball fairly true, or I have been shooting and hitting the ball fairly true. Got the range in my arm to hit it anywhere, but kind of like make true contact a lot, and then have the ability to go into drills and like hit 10 perfect high lines in a drill or whatnot. But that's kind of like that one high line that you can predict in that box. And instead of having like different speeds and different contact points and different gray area stuff in between shots and hits, like slap downs and chops and like different speeds that, where I'm looking to kill the ball that way more than I'm trying to hit the ball hard, because I've done a lot of hitting the ball hard for a long time, and
good, well,
it gets you to a point, but
good things happen. Good things happen when you hit the shit out of it.
Hey, and sometimes and sometimes you get stuffed by good blockers, and I think that there's a higher level blocker that's in my face, ready to take that power away. And if he can just sit on the power against me for he's going to get it. A good blocker is going to get it eventually. If I'm just hitting the ball full speed so much. So I'm trying to reinvent my side out game. I think I've been like a good side out player, but not a great side out player because of that. I don't think. And
to be Sunday, you got to be great, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think like I very rarely go into games and just suck and can't side out at all. But it's more about like, can I side out, 600 plus, like routinely? And the only way I think I can get better at doing that is just having more variation. Like, I've been telling this story a lot. Like a guy who became a buddy of mine this year was Grant O'Gorman, when I got to play with him in Manhattan Beach, and we always sort of like got along, but then we got to connect and be friends, and he stayed at my house for like a week, and he gave me like some really true good insight, and he talked to me from the heart, and he just said, hey, I think the best thing you can do to improve your game is you got to stop playing by the rules so much. And what he meant by that was, less true shots, less true swings that are like, yeah, they're good shots, they're good swings, but there's like 4, 5, 6 things that the defense has to play for against you. You got to make them play you for like 12 different things, 15 different things, different variations in like contact and speed and slice and chisel, and like make it so the blocker doesn't feel like he can just like press on you. And and as he was telling me, I was like, dude, I know you're right, and I need to go back to the drawing board, and I need to like change my mentality of how I side out. I need to be thinking about off speed, in my everyday preparation a whole lot more. And I'm always gonna be able to hit the ball, hopefully, until I can't. Like someday I won't. But like for right now, I can hit the ball when I need to. But I'm not, trying to come in thinking about blasting every time. And so yeah, I mean, and then in Chicago, I think I played well, but like that's when I look back to where I could have done better. It's all about like needing to have a different kind of side out that softened up the defense against me. We got beat pretty solid by Came and Theo. That's one of the best teams in the country right now.
Playing good volleyball, man. They're just playing good volleyball, right?
They're just really good right now. They're super good right now.
Atlantic City, they did really well. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, they had a stretch like between what they went out
Doha. Cancun. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and then they went to Africa and they won that tournament, and then they won something else, and then they came back to Atlantic City and they won, or like they just like didn't lose a game against anybody for like a month. So they had a good season and they're really, really good. But against a block like Theo, I'm not just gonna like hit my way through Theo. Of course, So
he's on when he's on, man. That dude's streaky blocker, man. He's the best blocker no one talks about. He's a streaky blocker,
Oh, dude, I think he's a good blocker pretty much every time. And he got really, his side out got better this year. I think his side out has become pretty nasty. It's always been good, but like, yeah, Theo's playing awesome, dude. And he's doing it well. He's got his 2 kids, and yeah, I'm stoked on him.
Yeah, I saw his.
So yeah, that's what I need to get. That's what I'm working on.
Yeah. Well, for you, I mean, as someone who's been doing this a long time as a coach at like every different level, I mean, obvious is obvious. I'm gonna tell you something you already know, but since we got people listening, they don't know, so so we have to perform this. You don't make sure we're not using our shots to set up power. You use your power to set up shots. Power is what brought you to the dance. You change levels on your directional integrity on the power, and you use that to set up your shots as opposed to the other way around. You already know that. I'm preaching to the converted, but for the people who are listening, that's an educational tip. All right.
Yeah.
At the FIVB,
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Sure.
At the FIVB level,
yeah.
You're not going to see a whole lot of shots. So when you get to where you gotta go, you have to make sure what brought you to the dance, what got you here, is still catered to, where you know you need to level up on that. So I guess what I'm saying is you don't need to increase your shot game to compensate for your power. Those things are not mutually exclusive. They're binary. I think you definitely get your offense, the mixture of whatever you want, off speed, shoot, this and that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, cater and upgrade what has brought you to the dance in the first place. Because if you make it to Sunday, not if, when you make it to Sunday, so disrespectful. Sorry about that. When you make it to Sunday,
I'm trying to win on Sunday. That's the thing. Yeah.
But
which I haven't done yet.
You're in your prime right now. You're 35, and people are like, oh, 35. No, 35 is older. You're playing indoor, and your knees are shot to shit playing international ball. I played in Germany for 2 years, and man, that was awesome, and I'll never do it again. But when you get to Sunday and do the things that you want to do on Sunday on the regional scene, at some point you got to level up, and we both know. Based on my eye test, all right? We could talk about the gladiators in the arena bullshit all we want, but based on my eye test, you're not going to see a whole lot of people on the FIVB scene shooting. You know,
dude. Can I tell you something really interesting?
Please.
I think a study was just done, and I've heard this a couple different spots now. Because obviously most guys are taking heavy swings on the world tour. They're just ripping. That's what it looks like when you watch. I mean, guys are hitting a lot more than they are shooting. But there was a study done, and this is in like the top FIVB events, men's volleyball.
Okay.
In system, there's a higher first ball kill percentage, and this isn't just like winning the rally. This is first ball kill percentage on a shot than on a swing. On something that you would chart as a shot. And I know part of like this conversation is like, I'm working on the things that would be like, if we were, you ever play the game in practice where like, okay, you can only shoot in this drill or you can only hit in this drill. And if you're playing, you can only shoot. I'm talking about the stuff that you hit. And then everyone looks at it as like, was that a shot? Was that a hit? I'm like, it's like in between. Like that's what I'm trying to really work on the most is the tweener stuff. But like, stuff that would actually be charted as a shot, according to this study, is going down as a first ball kill at a higher percentage than a swing, a hard driven ball. Yes. And that's just on like that's like pass set shot. That's not even counting the rally. But the
lurking variable is in system.
Right, in system. So out of system, and that's so funny because I've been learning that too. Like the greatest thing that I have going for me for probably all these years of being like such an aggressive swing guy is that when you get a little broken and you are a little bit out of system, that's not always the time to try and be cute, because I'm working so hard on slapping it and shooting it right now that I'm kind of ending up like trying to be too cute in transition and broken plays.
Yeah.
That's actually the time for sure that you need to come in and be an athlete and go put the ball away. But it was in system that I was feeling like I had to get I had to improve the most.
I agree. I watched you for a long time.
System, yeah.
I totally agree with you. And I like the study. You know why? Because the study applies to you. I just asked you one thing you want to get better at. You said siding out, and you just cited the study. That has some lurking variables that I'm going to look into later because I'm not, you know, because I don't just go with the study and say good enough. I want to know the lurking variables. I want to know the sample size. I want to know which tournaments, if they're 3-star, 4-star tournaments. I want to know if they were the whole tournament or just playoffs. So there are a whole bunch of things that go into my mind because people believe what comes out of my mouth. So if I say studies show, they're not going to do the research because they know I did. I would also be interested to see if that study also applied to transition as far as kills and shots and this and that. But we're not talking about that because we're talking about
different.
We're talking about where you want to get better. I didn't mean to drive us off the cliff on that one, but because that's what we're talking.
I did. I was the one that took us there. I thought it was so interesting, like because you're talking about the FIVB and like how guys hit the ball so much.
Mm-hmm. But it was connected. Sorry to interrupt. It was connected to what you said. I just asked you, right? I just asked you what's one thing you wanted to get better at from Chicago up to this point. So you're Kanye West. You brought it back full circle.
Dude, I'm just trying to side out better.
Yeah.
And I think that the way I can do that is to use more I'm just going to say off speed stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even mean shots. I just mean like more speeds to my attack.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's going to help is like,
you got everything else. You got good option swings. You have a very formidable block. Your serve to space.
That's getting better, yeah.
Your serve to space is because you're good at measuring your opponents. Like, you know what? No, this is a game. I don't need this. I don't need to shock the world with my serve. I could just go competitive enough and still win this. And there's some people you got to get them out. So you have an intelligent serve selection. Your heart cannot be questioned. Your heart cannot be questioned. My favorite two matches that I've ever watched you play, both of them were losses, by the way, which it's probably when I've seen your heart the most because you're not into this losing business. So you're like, if I'm losing this game, they got to kill me. So one was the semifinals. The first time I saw you, New York. I think you played Mayer and Dougherty, or it was you played Mayer and Dougherty because Keenan played Phil. No, it was Gibbon Patterson.
The first time we got in, we had to go through Keenan and Billy Allen in the quarters.
Sorry, so it wasn't a semis, it was a quarters, and you won.
Yeah.
That was a great match
against Keenan and Billy. Yeah, that was a great match. Billy K played so good. He played so well.
Yeah, and the second one was Huntington Beach. It was P1440. You played with the late, God rest his soul, the late Eric Zahn. Well, you had beaten Semenov, which probably, come on, we remember our favorite matches because I think you beat Semenov to get to
and
that
Harley
match.
Marquez.
Right.
Semenov and Harley Marquez.
Yes. And to get to Tiwi and Ontiveros, right? Rubio, we call him.
Rubio.
I'm from New York, so I got a big Latino population, so I only knew him as Tiwi.
He's so good, man.
Isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, he's nasty. He's good.
Some of your best performances, I don't even remember if they're wins or losses. I just know they came in these situations that required you to what us New Yorkers say, cowboy the F up. You ain't got time for this. You ain't got time for a call that could go another way. Gotta go. And man, you put on your boots. You put in your cowboy boots and said yippee-ki-yay, man. It was so. You played a lot of matches like that, but the two matches that come to my memory were those. And hey, guess what? You're converting me. I'm gonna start fouling around Avery Drost, man. I don't know what's up. So
thanks, bro. Thanks, bro.
We only have a little bit of time, but I want to use this time. And we definitely got to do this again at some point. Maybe maybe me, you, and Eric. I'll bring the food, whatever. You bring the drinks.
Let's go.
We can do a watch party or something. Maybe watch the UFC together.
Okay,
yeah. I'm a big MMA guy. I'm ex-military, so I'm intrigued by how clean it is. And I'm sloppy, but
nice, dude.
Here we go. CIFs. Let's Mira Costa.
Yeah.
You're the head coach of Mira Costa boys
guys,
team.
yeah.
I caught you by surprise. I got him by surprise. Mira Costa High School. You won your regionals and you won states for Division 1.
I did, man.
Before I ask my question, the thing I like about your win is because in this world, in this bubble, with these good old boys clubs and these cliques, which I have a strong affection for because our love for the sport on a universal scale remains unconditional. Where you have all this talent, where you have all these kids that go to every volleyball camp possible to be these good players before they even start their varsity season, the person who delivered was you, the active player. And for me, I always have a pet peeve, because I told John Mayer this. If you want to win a championship, you have to retire as a player, because I've never in my life met a coach at the highest levels who won a championship that's still an active player. They're unicorns. They don't exist, you know? John Mayer eventually retired, won the WCCs, but that's a different story. But my question to you is loaded. So the reason why I'm talking, it's a loaded question, and I need you to wait for me on this one.
Okay.
As a player, how much did coaching boys and working some of those muscles between the ears from the neck up, not to mention to make sure they're technically correct and all that stuff, how much did you coaching boys improve your game individually as a beach volleyball player?
Oh, that's a great question, bro. I think
thanks for your patience.
The thing that comes to mind, man, so quick is when I'm coaching other people, I'm trying to get, the boys to hear me when I'm talking to them about the toughest stuff for them to hear, like when I'm trying to help them improve in their weakest areas, or like to really to accept something that I'm calling them out on and asking them to do that's hard, and that is maybe like a hole in their game right now. And it's so hard to communicate that kind of stuff to people, to help them understand, first of all, you got to build a love so that they know, like, coach loves me and he's telling me this like from his heart, and to help us win. It's not because he's just got an attitude with me. But then on the other side of that, it's like, it's just so hard to hear it and like really understand, no, you're doing it a little wrong here, and there's a better way to do it. And so I was like going through that with my boys and trying to help them, maybe learn different things. And then I realized for me as a player, I was like, I was thinking about how hard-headed I had been about being like willing to unlearn stuff that I did, and like how I could learn to coach myself, and to more like critically evaluate my game more honestly, and really look at what I was doing and be willing to critique myself, and then doing the work has never been hard for me. Like I'm wired to work. It's not, I get up and I go do it, but it's more like the way I train. Am I like willing to admit that like you're doing this ineffectively, and you've got to learn how to do it a different kind of way. Otherwise you're going to keep having the same result. So I feel like coaching other players, man, it really helped me to like get into my own head and coach myself more, if that makes sense.
It makes complete sense, because one of the biggest challenges for adult professionals is being open to new ideas when you're set in your ways, right? In our psyche, the way we play, it doesn't even matter if it's true, if it's successful or not. In our mind, we just believe it is, and it's so hard to not unlearn is the word you're using. I like that. To change or to take and improve in this and that. For example, there's some things that ain't gonna change. All right, there's some things where you're just so far in. That's who you are. Like Phil, right? Like a coach is not going to come up to Phil and be like, you have a lefty approach, you need to change your steps. No, fuck off, right? I'm not changing my steps, so there's certain things, right? Rob Mclean and I, we were talking about Rob, we were teaching some of our kids like the knee down pass, and they were trying to show, I jumped in on the training group, and I'm more of like a Karch Kara guy, like a grind it out, just legs. And Rob's philosophy was that it's more energy to do it my way than to do it that way. But my argument was not if I've been doing it that way my whole life. It's not energy consuming if that's all you know. So for me, I'm not an active player. I'm done with this gangster stuff. But for me, no, I'm not gonna do it that way. I'm gonna learn it. And as a coach, as a 25-year coach, I'm going to teach it. But as a player, miss me on that one. So there's certain things as players that you have to unlearn because there's just a right way to do it and it's more productive. But what you're not going to do as a coach is you're not going to take something that someone already has some success at. Like Phil, he's able to goofy foot because he doesn't pivot jump. He doesn't pivot foot when he jumps. Right? You know, you're an indoor coach. You know what the pivot foot is. Like it's left, right, left, and that left foot is like parallel to the net that gives you more range or this or that. Phil's not doing that. Phil's jumping with both legs this way, and he's done that. And that's the way it is. Tina Gradina, the Olympian, Tina Gradina.
Yep, she's goofy foot also, like that too.
Yeah. And I had Dana on the podcast. He's like, dude, don't think I haven't tried. He said, don't think I haven't tried. She still has one more year with Dane at USC.
She grew up watching Alex Samoilov's, in Latvia do it that way too.
Who's also a goofy foot. God damn,
exactly.
I love it. You read my mind. So I love that. I knew that coaching kids, players who are active players, learn a lot about themselves. Individually from the neck up and the neck down. So my question was to you was the how, and I knew I knew the answer would be interesting. I really really love it.
Thanks, bro. Well, there's more too. Like that's like the most standout way, but there's more. I learned a lot from coaching.
Yeah, man.
Still learning a lot from coaching.
Hey, look, I'm gonna try to get you out here 4 minutes early. Let's do a lightning round thing. Finish that way. Who's the most conditioned athlete that you play with? Tri-born. Who is the team that you look forward to playing every tournament? You're amped to play a little bit more. You're amped to play all of them, but give me one, top of your head.
It's always been Jake and Taylor because I just felt like that was the ultimate test, and now it's going to be something different. But
who's the most? Right, go ahead.
Sorry, go. No.
Who's the most extroverted partner that you played with that always galvanizes the crowd in a good or bad way?
Eric Zahn.
I love it.
Right? It has to be, yeah. Actually, you guys, but it's got to be Zahn. I mean, it's got to be. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, look, I had a couple of more, but I really, really want to get you out of here because I know.
That's all right. We can lightning. I got 3 minutes.
Oh, 3 minutes. Do you like pools or do you like the beach?
Beach.
He's like, what kind of question is that? Do you last book you've read?
The Great Divorce by C.S. Lewis.
Great Divorce. Nice.
The last book. The Great Divorce by C.S. Lewis is the last book I read.
Have you seen Band of Brothers?
It's not about marriage divorce. It's a different understanding of the word divorce.
Have you seen Band of Brothers?
No, I haven't.
All right.
No, I haven't.
Cool.
I got to see that. Yeah.
Nice. All right, that's all I got. I want to finish with this on Band of Brothers, okay? We few, we happy few, we band of brothers. For he today that sheds his blood for me shall be my brother. That's the I think that's Henry IV. Cool. And I actually, evolution, when I was at Duncan Avery, in practice, I would just repeat it. So anyone that's ever played for me, they're like, we few, we happy few. And they're like, that's Jason. So that's one of my big secrets. But Avery Drost, before you go, plug in your website, Instagram handle, somewhere where people want to know more about the blonde-haired, blue-eyed, beautiful Avery Drost.
Oh, man. I'm the most active on Insta for sure. So my Insta it's just my name. It's at Avery Drost. That's it. And I'm on there. So I'll get messages and things like that.
Nice.
And you can see pictures of my kids.
Oh, yeah, I can't. I'm looking forward to it. Beautiful kids. All right, so guys, we're going to wrap it up. Avery Drost might love you, but I don't love you. In fact, I can't stand any of you. In fact, I'm out of here. So for all of you at home, for all of you who are eating lunch watching this, for all of you on your iPad, iPhone, Droid, desktop, who runs the world, old school. For Avery Drost, this is episode 115. I am Jason DeBias. Stay with me after this. We're out of here. Come check out the Option Podcast on optionvb.com. It's also available on iTunes and Spotify and on YouTube under the NY Varsity Sports handle. You're going to love what you hear.